Item 6 is deferred, so we don't need to. That's not considered. Item 7, planning application 17P0407 FUL, retention of existing car park extension, relocation of field access at Crown Hotel, Varteg Road. Varteg. So we'd like to. Norman's going to be introducing and explaining the details of that one.
Thank you, Chair. This is an extension to the existing car park at the Crown Hotel, which is at the northern extreme of the Varteg. If I could just make a correction in the report on page 76, under the paragraph highway safety, the road in the third line is actually the B4256, not the A4043. As I described, this is an extension to the car park for the Crown Hotel. Originally, the application came in for a larger extension to the car parking area. However, due to its position on the outside the boundary of the settlement boundary as defined in the local development plan, an amended scheme has been negotiated with the applicants, drawing in the works proposed for the car park to the plan that you see there, which involves approximately 4 metres of work outside the urban boundary. It is in the World Heritage Site. Concern has been raised by the Conservation Officer in terms of the justification for the works in the World Heritage Site. However, we consider that on balance, the works can be justified in terms of the health and well-being of the Crown Hotel, being a functional business there. It improves the existing car parking, getting vehicles potentially off the main road, and on balance with landscaping conditions, we're recommending approval. I'll just go through some of the photographs. That's the access down into the car parking area. That's looking at the rear of the hotel. These were works, unauthorised works, which took place. And just to give you an idea, that the urban boundary runs along the back of the adjacent residential property, and with no other defined boundaries. So we consider, on balance, it's acceptable, and we're recommending approval. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you're finished on that one. So, over to members. Questions? Councillor Owens?
Yeah, I'm reading the first part of the report, the background. I'm raising concerns why an enforcement investigation had to be carried out when the work was already proceeding. Is there any explanation why?
Yeah, this was brought to our attention. The works were unauthorised, and obviously people can make an application to retain the works, and this happens. We bring many applications to members when works have been taken place in advance of even application for planning permission. However, in this case, we've negotiated what we consider to be a revised scheme from what was originally submitted, and we can regularise it with an application with a planning permission, which will be conditioned.
Any more questions?
Yes, Chair.
Councillor Bevan?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, in the report it says that the original car park was where the bungalow is being built, Turfin Cerrig, and there was planning permission granted for that, but then it was subsequently amended and then regularised to take account of as-built variations in 2014. So could you just give us a bit more information on that? Was the land sold off by the previous owner of the pub? Thank you.
Yeah, it's as it's been alluded to. Yes, it was sold off by the previous owner of the pub. At that time, there was no requirement in terms of the parking area to be retained. There is a parking area at the back of the existing pub that you saw. However, that land was sold off and the bungalow built. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
More questions? Any more questions?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, then.
I will be supporting the opposite recommendation on this one. I think it's paramount to the fact that the extra parking for the pub. It's okay, he broke the rules slightly, but he's been put in place. I think there'll be an asset to the pub and the community in future.
Thank you there. Any more questions, observations? So do you want to go to the vote? Motion, sir. Thank you. Motion, please.
As I said, I'll propose the officer's recommendation.
Seconder? Thank you, Gaynor. Right. All those in favour? Those against? Abstentions. That's the one, isn't it? Okay, it looks like everybody's in favour. Thank you, Rick. Pardon? Approved unanimously, I've been told. Thank you. And some new terminology here. Thank you very much indeed. So we'll go on to item number 8 and see if I can trip myself up with this one. It's planning application 17P0552FUL, construction of 19-metre by 6-metre log cabin amenity centre for service users and a 40-metre by 20-metre outdoor riding area at Woodland Farm, Keflin Crib Road, Pantygassett. I can get that one quite well. So, without much ado, can you present that one?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is a full application submitted by Pegasus Arenas for a log cabin and outdoor riding arena with an associated access and parking. I do want to highlight that within the report there is an omission that the owner of the land opposite did provide representations in relation to the application. They expressed concerns over the size and scale of the build, the likely increase of the number of users of the site, and also the increase of traffic along the road. Okay, so the application relates to a section of land located within a wider parcel which benefits from an approved equine assisted therapy use. This use has been ongoing for around 7 years. The site currently forms sloping grassland which is currently used for the grazing of horses, as you can see in the photos there. So that's the proposed site plan. The application seeks to provide the outdoor riding arena and log cabin served by a hard standing with 4 on-site car parking spaces. There is slight land plateauing proposed in order to create a level surface for the outdoor riding arena, and also the scheme does provide a 4-metre buffer from the hedgerow to the north in order to ensure that the health of that hedgerow isn't affected. So the log cabin itself, it's basically to provide an indoor space for service users of this facility. It seeks to provide an area of refreshments, teaching, and also sort of cleaning, first aid facilities. It's going to comprise of pine elevations and a green shingle roof. And essentially what it seeks to do is improve upon the facilities offered to the service users of the use which is ongoing. an illustration of the log cabin is provided below.
Okay, that's finished. Any questions, members, please? Ron?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, could we go back, Scott, to the log cabin itself, please? Very, very nice, as we can see. To be honest, I've got my glass on, I've left in the car. But what I wouldn't want to see is any residential development. I mean, looking at that could be quite easily turned into a dwelling. As long as we've got conditions on there, it's for service users only, and there is tied for that. I'm happy with it.
Yes, there are conditions which basically make it a personal consent for the applicants. And there's also a condition on there that if it ever comes to a point where this service is no longer required, that basically the land should be reinstated.
Any other questions, members, please? Councillor Bellamy?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm sort of looking at it from a slightly different view. I agree with the officer's recommendation, but I'm wondering, is it usual to have so many stringent conditions attached to a consent order? I could understand perhaps saying about the site of the horse riding area that was shown on the other one, in terms of landscaping being put back if it was no longer required for the equine therapy use, but the conditions seem quite stringent on the actual building itself in terms of removal of the log cabin if that equine business ceased to operate. Can you provide a bit more substance as to why such stringent conditions have been attached to this, please?
Yeah, so the site is obviously within the countryside. With the way that the land lies, it is quite a prominent location which could have viewpoints from across the valley. And obviously in this case, whilst an outdoor riding arena and cabin are kind of of a rural character, we do look to ensure that basically trying to reduce the harm. So if the use expires, that we wouldn't want particularly the log cabin to stay there if it had no function, and obviously trying to sort of keep the ethos of the countryside character really.
Can I just add to that the fact is that it doesn't stop them applying for planning permission in the future if the use did start to if there was a reason for the use ceasing. It just gives us that control, as Scott says, to make sure that the cabin doesn't stay there with no apparent use.
I have a quick supplementary piece, Chair.
Go on.
Just, I noticed, I think in terms of aesthetics, I think log cabins sit beautifully in the countryside anyway. I don't think they detract or diminish what's there in any way, shape or form. But I just noticed on the plan there, they've actually annotated underneath it, mobile home. So that was what prompted the question really, is a conflict there over the usage of that particular building?
It was more of a sort of a labelling up that the application came with really. It could have been sort of perhaps labelled log cabin or something a bit more related to the business use, but hopefully the conditions seek to control that.
Any more questions on this, please, from members? Do we have a mover?
I'll do that, Chair.
Yeah, seconder?
Second.
Right. So we go to the vote on this. Those in favour? Lovely. Anybody against? Any abstentions? So it's been approved. What's your form of words again?
It's approved as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That would appear to be business for tonight. So do I need to do anything else? That's it. That's it. Close the meeting. I'll formally close this meeting. Thank you very much for your forbearance and patience.